I am currently walking towards the animals to feed them this pumpkin. So hopefully you will get to join me for that fun thing because animals love to eat, especially fun treats like pumpkins. It is very chilly. It was 21 degrees when I got up this morning and did chores in about 22-degree weather. It's 22 degrees Fahrenheit for anybody watching overseas. Oh my goodness. It sounds like the sheep and goats want to eat this pumpkin. Let's go see how excited they are to see this treat. I already gave all the animals some pumpkin earlier this morning, but it looks like we have 3 sheep fighting over one little piece of pumpkin right now. So let's take a look and see what they think of this one right here. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see the animals. All right, there's our dog. She's always excited to see. Oh, you see the old goats coming down the hill. All right, goats. Who's ready for a pumpkin? Well, they might need some assistance smashing it up. They're a little confused by the whole pumpkin. Let's see here. Let's see if I can break it. There we go. Got it started for you. Oh yeah, she loves those pumpkin seeds. So this is Curry. He's the first goat we got. And this is a male and this is a female that we recently got. And we haven't named them yet. We actually are having a poll on our Facebook page to vote for their names. We asked our followers to suggest some names. We got quite a few that we really liked, so we decided to post our favorites and let everybody vote. Currently in the lead are Fred and Ethel from I Love Lucy, because Ethel always called Fred an old goat. There are some other names on there, so if you don't follow us on Facebook and you are on Facebook, we suggest you go over there and check out the suggestions and vote for your favorite. The sheep definitely enjoy the pumpkin as well. Our steer Derby got his own pumpkin, and he's jealous of that one. Come on, Derby. You have your own pumpkin over here. Come here, buddy. Look. Derby. Derby, look. You have your own pumpkin to eat. Shep Highlights, you're our biggest fan? Well, thanks. We appreciate that. Yeah, they're definitely messy when they eat. And with it being as cold as it is in the winter, it's there's not a lot of green right now. That's one of the reasons we like to give them treats, give them some additional things to eat. And they, as you can see, that old goat there, has no issues eating some dried up weeds. But the pumpkin is definitely a fun treat to give them. We were very fortunate. A bunch of our followers that are local to us have been bringing us their leftover pumpkins that they were using for decoration. So we got probably, I don't know, 50 or 60. So that's pretty cool. We've been giving a lot to our pigs, and obviously the goats and sheep and cow really like the pumpkin as well. Hey, Derby. Oh, he's such a sweetheart. He is such a sweetheart. Aren't you, buddy? Yes. Hey. He's got a little bit of booger crusties on his eye. It's very chilly out here. So sometimes the wind chaps his tears. But I'm gonna come back out here with the other critters. Maybe grab some more pumpkins and feed the pigs. Bye, Derby. Ben, you're a big fan as well. And Ronaldo, nice. Appreciate you being a big fan. Here's Mel. He's our only male sheep we have. He's a sweet boy. Aren't you, Mel? Yes, he's a sweet boy. He's the only one that was born on our farm. His mother is right there. That's Eminem. Right, girl? You're a sweet girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. She's a sweet girl. So that is Sheila. This white one here is Verde, because she has a green tag in her ear. And that's Baba, black sheep. And this is Lita. Actually, I lied. No, I didn't. Lita was the first sheep we had born on our property. We got some very sickly sheep from somebody from a big ranch. And the two sheep we got were pretty feral. They did not like people at all. And unfortunately, she has developed a little bit of those traits despite being born here on the farm and being given love and attention every day. But the other sheep, they have always been very friendly. All right, Derby, you behave yourself. Don't be jealous of those sheep and goats with their pumpkin, because you've got plenty of your own. You got some over there that you've been working on, and down here by the gate. All right. And of course, our jealous dog, she's like, where's my pumpkin? She actually stole a mini pumpkin from the pile and has been snacking on that. All right. Come on, Jenga. We'll go get another pumpkin or two and feed it to the pigs. So for anybody who is just now joining, my name is Nick, and my wife Ashley and I are the owners of Riggin Farm here in Talking Rock, Georgia. We are in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. We are a regenerative farm where we do not use any chemicals whatsoever, and we try to improve the quality and health of the land. Every passing season, it gets better and better. We focus a lot on soil health and adding nutrient-rich organic matter into the soil rather than adding a bunch of chemicals. All of our animals are on a big open pasture. So the sheep and goats currently are in an 8-acre paddock. There are 9 of them. Derby the steer is in an 1.5 acre paddock by himself right now. And part of that is because we do supplement him with a little bit of alfalfa, and just because it's really high in protein, and we're trying to fatten him up. And the sheep and goats will fight him for his food, so they need to be separated because of that. There's a little bit of food aggression there. Our pigs are about 2.5 acres, and their pasture is more wooded. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Let me set this pumpkin down and I can flip the screen around. Let's see here. Can anybody in the comments tell me if you can hear me? Because maybe having some technical difficulties with the microphone. All the pigs, they know something's up. There they go. Might need to go grab another pumpkin so that there's less fighting. Here, let me see if I can set this down. I'll grab another one. I'm not sure if you can hear me while I'm walking away. I'm about 70 feet away from the camera right now. Not sure if the Bluetooth microphone reaches. I'd love to know. See if you could comment below and let me know whether or not you can hear me while I'm grabbing some more pumpkins. All right. We got 2 more pumpkins to feed them. Of course, they push the pumpkin up against the fence line, so fewer of them have access to it. I gave them like 8 pumpkins this morning with their breakfast. All right. Let's see here. We got this really cool looking pumpkin right here. Oh, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you letting me know that you could hear me. I can always tell when I'm editing a full-length video whether or not I recorded my voice, but during a live video, it's not so easy to tell. Let's see them go to town on that one. Oh, here come the babies. Come on, babies. Hey, pig. Yeah, so earlier I was mentioning that we do feed them pumpkins around this time of year. All of these pumpkins actually came from some local followers that were done with their pumpkin decorations for the fall. So they brought them to us because they know how much our animals love the pumpkins. We actually grew some pumpkins and fed them to the pigs this year. And we actually grew them just outside of their fence, so it was really easy just to pick them and toss them over the fence. This is Morcia. She is one of our breeding sows. Half of these babies are hers. Guanciale, the other big one there that is black on one side and white on the other, they're actually sisters from the same litter. We got them as our very first pigs back in October of 2021. And they've each produced several healthy litters for us that our customers have enjoyed very much. Our family enjoys them too. Hey, babies. They're very curious. I like this one with a little white spot on its nose. Hey, Guanciale. Hey, mama. Yeah, so pumpkins are a really great supplement to livestock because they have natural anti-parasitic properties. They're really good natural dewormer. We don't like to give our animals any kind of unnatural products. We don't do any hormones or vaccines or antibiotics. The only thing we ever administer medically is we'll spray a little bit of an antifungal on the males that we castrate. And that's just a way to prevent infection, but that's a topical thing. It doesn't get into their bloodstream or affect the quality of their meat in any way. You can't feed pigs nothing but pumpkins, even if we had an abundance, because they don't provide enough nutrition to sustain them. There's not enough protein. There's a lot of water content in pumpkins, so they would literally starve because they couldn't eat enough pumpkins to satisfy their caloric needs. Also, pigs are naturally deficient in iron, so pretty much every commercial pig breeder or hog farm is going to do iron injections. We live in North Georgia. We have lots of clay, and the red clay is naturally high in iron. The iron is actually what makes the clay red. So it works out pretty well that we don't have to supplement them with anything. Another reason that pumpkins aren't necessarily a great option for pigs for their sole food source is because they need the amino acid lysine in order to function properly and survive. Lysine is an amino acid that's found in all complete proteins, but as far as vegetarian sources, you're going to find that primarily in beans and other legumes. We are a soy-free farm, so the majority of animal feeds are going to be made out of soy and corn. We also don't do corn on our farm because they're both very high in omega-6 fatty acids. And when you have a diet high in omega-6 fatty acids and you throw out your balance of omega-3s to omega-6, it causes a lot of problems like cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure and autoimmune disorders. The way your body processes and stores fat for later energy is actually impacted with a high omega-6 diet. So it actually does lead to obesity, and there are a lot of studies that suggest high omega-6s also lead to different types of cancer. So we don't want to give those to our animals, and we don't want those things to end up in their stored fat cells that we end up eating or our customers end up eating, because we want our family and our customers to be healthy. So we provide the healthiest food options possible. Now, the feed that we do give them as their supplemental feed, in addition to what they forage, not so much, they've already decimated this area near the front fence, but they have another 2+ acres of wooded that they forage in. But the feed that we give them has alfalfa in it, which is a legume and very high in protein and the amino acid lysine. Now let's go see if the goats and sheep have finished their pumpkins. Well, the goats are here. I guess the sheep have moved on. So all of this fencing was a huge project that we just finished up about a month ago, maybe not even quite a month ago. Oh, there they are. The sheep are way up over there. We spent just shy of 4 months fencing in 9.5 acres. And we got lots of video of that process. And I will be making a full-length video on that in the near future. This coming weekend is the last farmers market of the year, so we won't be doing that again until April. We are going to be setting up at the front of the farm for local people to come by and get some farm fresh goods, because we still have eggs and lots of meat in the freezer, and we do have some produce. We have surprisingly, even in this temperature, we have a lot of lettuce and kale and cabbage and some other things that are still doing very well in the winter garden. We sold a lot of lettuce this past Saturday at the farmer's market, and we'll have more this coming week. We do have some sales we're doing for this holiday season as the year wraps up. We are doing a special on our whole and half pigs. So when you order a whole or half pig, it is completely custom cut. You let us know how you want your pig done. So if you really like bacon, we'll make sure that we get that belly smoked and sliced for you so you can have a great breakfast with your family. If you prefer to have a whole belly and put it on the smoker for a very unctuous and succulent treat, that's also an option. You can get your loins boneless roast, or you can get them cut into bone-in or boneless chops. The thickness is completely up to you. If you want them really thin, like a 1/4 inch, because you really like to do a breaded and flash fried pork chop, we'll do that for you. If you like them nice and thick, an inch, inch and a quarter to throw on the grill, serve them nice medium rare, we'll do that for you as well. And all those trimmings, you can get them done as a mild or hot breakfast sausage, an Italian sausage, or even just plain ground pork. We really like the ground pork and meatloaf, and we'll do the sausage and spaghettis and other pasta dishes, meatballs, really good stuff. We also have some sales going on for those who are not local. We have our book, Foodie Farmers, A Culinary Journey from Farm to Table. That is our farm to table cookbook that we published last year that has over 50 original recipes. Each chapter we talk about how we raise our animals and how we grow different types of produce in ethical and sustainable ways without the use of any kind of chemicals. And then at the end of the chapter, it goes into cookbook mode. And that's where you'll get all of those original recipes with stunning pictures. So check that out. We're doing $10 off our book right now. The price is already reflected on the webpage. We have a paperback or hardcover copy available. You could also do, for a little bit extra, we'll sign the book for you, personalize it, so you let us know what you'd like us to write in there, and we will. And we also have our digital ebook available. That's only $4.95 right now, $10 off the regular price. So you can head to our website, www.regenfarm.com. And for just $4.95, you can check out our book, Foodie Farmers, A Culinary Journey from Farm to Table. We also do a huge assortment of natural soaps and shampoo bars and beard products, also a detoxifying face wash. And all of those products are buy two, get one free. There's a coupon code. It is B2G1 soap. Put in that coupon code and it'll automatically take one of your soap items off. Is it hard to not, somebody commented, Allison Green, is it hard not to get attached to the animals? Yes and no. So all of our animals serve a purpose. When we get our animals, we know exactly what their role on the farm is. So it's a little bit easier to compartmentalize. So like these two old goats right here, their purpose is to eat down the weeds and other brush in this part of the pasture. And Derby here, when we got him, we knew from the very beginning that we were going to raise him for beef. That is the reason he's on our farm. Now, Jenga, on the other hand, she's our family dog, and she's become a farm dog. She was a puppy in the suburbs and moved with us here to rural North Georgia and has adapted to farm life pretty well. And we know that her role is part of the family and protector of the property, and we won't eat her because that is not her role on the farm. We also have several cats. We have three outside cats and 2 indoor cats. The indoor cats help patrol pests inside the house, and the 3 help patrol for pests outside the house. We also have chickens. If anybody wants to see them, we'll go ahead and head that way. They are probably still working on their pumpkin that we gave them yesterday. They don't eat nearly as much or as quickly as these bigger animals. But we'll go ahead and walk towards the chicken area and grab a pumpkin on the way. Let's see. Allison also asked, how long has your family had the farm? So my wife Ashley and I, in 2019, decided that we were going to start a farm and started looking for property at that point. And met with our good friend and real estate agent, Brandon Leonard, and told him what we were looking for, how many acres we wanted, the requirements for a home on the farm, because we do have 4 children. So we needed to make sure not only do we have enough space to start and build our very own business, we also needed enough space to support our family. So we opted for buying raw land and building a manufactured home to put on the land, because that was within our budget and would give us enough space to meet our family's needs and our business needs. So yeah, we put in the offer on this property in April of 2020. So as many recall, that was a pretty crazy time in the world. And it wasn't until October of 2021 that we actually had the keys to our house and were able to move in. And by that point, the cost of everything got pretty high relative to 2019 when we wrote our first business plan. All right, we are at the chicken area now. So all of these chickens are layers. So they are not necessarily going to be eaten. And we have some free-range rabbits in here as well. Oh yeah, they've still been working on their pumpkins. So maybe I will not give them another pumpkin. Let's see, let me break this one open for them. When I tossed it over the fence, didn't have enough force to break it open for them. Oh, that's a tough pumpkin. Might be partially frozen. Goodness gracious. Well, you know what? Let's give you that one instead. And I'll feed this other one to the pigs who have very strong jaws. Yeah, so we have about 60 layer hens and 3 roosters. Kathy from Texas says, you sound highly educated. What was your job prior to this? Okay. So I graduated in 2005 from the Seattle Culinary Academy because I love food, and food has always been my biggest passion. When I was in my early 20s, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, so I decided I'd go to culinary school, because even if I wasn't able to necessarily get a career cooking or doing something with food, it is a passion of mine. And I thought that it would be a really good skill to have that I can use every day of my life. And in fact, I do. So I ended up working in restaurants, primarily fast casual, not anything glamorous or fancy, but consistent hours, consistent pay, benefits. And I did that for about 15 years and was pretty miserable. It was, I often use the term soul crushing, being told what to do and when to do it and how to do it. And I have a very entrepreneurial spirit, and always would come up with ways to build and grow other people's businesses. Sorry, it's very chilly. It makes it hard to talk out here. Yeah, so made other people very rich, and decided that it was time to start my own thing. Ashley, my wife, and I in 2019 decided that we needed to come up with something different to do for me. She's actually an Air Force veteran. She was a combat medic, and when she got out of the Air Force, she worked in hospitals. So she has primarily been in healthcare and has been since she was a teenager. And she also absolutely loves food. That is the passion that drew us together and keeps us together. We absolutely love experiencing new foods and other food-related things. So yeah, I appreciate you telling me I sound highly educated, because I always did really well in school. I probably should have been a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or something like that. But just because you're good at something doesn't necessarily mean it's your passion and it's something you want to do for the rest of your life. I probably should have done it, made a lot of money, so that I could have started the farm in my 40s in a much better financial situation, unlike starting a farm in my 40s in a not so great financial situation. But that's okay, because I'm much happier doing this than anything else I've ever done in my life. And we started the YouTube channel because I've always been fascinated by film. I actually considered going to film school when I was younger as well. But I know that's a very competitive field, and little did I know that YouTube was going to be a thing not too further into the future. And a lot of people, especially the early YouTubers, have done pretty well for themselves. All right, I'm going to flip over the camera again, toss some more pumpkins to the pigs. Hey, guanciale. She was always my favorite pig from the very beginning. She has always followed me around when I would be working on the fencing when we first started the pig area. She would always follow me around and lay down next to me until I was done in a certain area. And then she'd get up and follow me to the next section that I'd be working on. But she's also a very protective mother. One day, I saw some of her babies that were very far away from her, just a couple days after she had given birth to them. And I tried to bring them closer to her, and they started screaming. She did not like that, so she decided that she was going to run at me, pretty much bum rush me, knock me over, and she gave me a warning bite on my hand that has caused a little bit of tendon damage. I can't close my fist properly anymore, but it hasn't really impacted my everyday life. I play guitar, and it definitely hurt for the first month or so after that happened, but I was actually playing guitar earlier this morning while waiting for something to load on the computer. Decided to pick up the guitar and play for a couple minutes because I got easily distracted by the guitar sitting right there. Anyway, yeah, and I didn't even think about how she had bit my hand and damaged it. So I guess it's pretty much healed. Got some little babies that are about a month old. They still nurse on their moms, but they are eating solids. They usually start eating solids pretty early, like within the first few days of life. Let's see. Allison asks, how old do the pigs get before they are used for food? We let ours grow until they're about 11 months old, 10 to 11 months old. Kind of depends on the season. Usually when it's really chilly like this, they will grow, but a lot of the calories that they consume are used to keep them warm during the winter. So they won't grow quite as much. So if it's a warmer season, they might grow a little bit faster, maybe 10 months. We have processed them that are closer to a year old, and they get bigger. But it's all about what's most efficient, because we want to make sure that they're a good size, because nobody likes really thin, wimpy strips of bacon or really tiny Boston butts to throw on the grill or the smoker. So we like to make sure that we have a good size portion. But if we were to process, say, one of these mamas, they are almost twice the weight of the pigs that we send to the butcher at about 11 months old. And they serve a much greater purpose because they are our source of more piglets. We do have one boar who is around here somewhere. Let's see. Let me go find him. We actually did a poll on our Facebook page to vote for his name. We asked for suggestions, picked some of our favorites, and then let our followers vote. So his name is Cracklin, and he's that big guy in the middle there. So he is intact, which allows him to be able to breed with our females. And something that is I did not know prior to farming and having pigs and breeding, and goes with a lot of livestock, that the males, when they're intact, they will be a little bit leaner, and when you castrate them at a young age, like all of our other males, other than the little babies, they will get a little bit fatter and develop that nice fattiness that you expect with your bacon and your sausage. And Kathy asks, when I buy bacon, why are there many more, let's see, why are there many with more fat than other meat? Does that mean it's a poor quality of pork? No. So just like with any animal, the fat and muscle structure is different in different parts of the body. Like with us, like we typically hold our excess fat in different areas, like our bellies. Pigs are no different. So a very healthy pig is going to have more of its fat in the belly region. So that is why you have more fat in the belly. Whereas, and also it's all about caloric surplus or deficit, just like with people. If the animals don't eat enough, they're not going to have excess energy stored as fat. Now, one thing that I will say about store-bought bacon versus our bacon is that all of the pigs that are raised in this country for commercial purposes, they are kept inside very small areas where they are not allowed to move much, and they are fed a diet of corn and soy, which are very cheap, most of the time genetically modified, and they are really high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are the worst kinds of fats for you. They are essential, but you need them in very, very small doses. Hang on, I got a rogue pumpkin here. So what ends up happening is you end up with a very low quality fat. And most of the time when you get bacon from the grocery store, when you cook it, that fat renders out, and that's why your bacon gets all shriveled up and withers away to almost nothing. Now, our pigs, because they are fed a non-GMO, corn-free, and soy-free diet, again, this area is kind of like the main communal area. That gate is where we load them into the trailer when we take them to the butcher. But they have over 2 acres of wooded pasture back there where they're able to go and forage, and they do eat a lot of the greens. That actually increases the omega-3 content of their fat, and it ends up, almost ironically, it melts in your mouth more so, but it also doesn't render out the same way. So we end up with bacon strips that when you cook them, they don't really shrink down much. And they're a little bit more meaty. You can still cook them, get them nice and crispy, but you don't get that same shrinkage you do from commercial pork. The sheep have decided to come back. They must have thought that I had something good for them. And they were right, pumpkin. But we also have a garden where we don't use any kind of chemical fertilizers and no pesticides or herbicides or fungicides or anything like that. We just focus on having really healthy soil, and we use compost and worm castings and fish emulsion and other natural methods to enrich the soil. So when you don't use pesticides, you end up with some pest damage. You always have to plant a little bit extra and kind of sacrifice for the greater good of the other plants. So what do we do with that pest damage produce? Well, our animals help out with that. Because I promise you, the pigs don't mind having a few slugs in their strawberries or having some grubs in a squash. Oh, there's Derby finally enjoying some of his pumpkin. So Derby, we got from a friend of ours who currently has his mother. They're milking every day. And the plan was that they were going to do artificial insemination to get her pregnant for us. And then once her pregnancy test came back positive, then we would get her so that we could have our first dairy cow. The first round of AI didn't take. The second round, we just found out last night, didn't take. So they're going to wait about another week and do it again. And we're going to go ahead and take her once they've done that. And that way we can use her for milk. And then we'll wait about a month to do a pregnancy test on her. And if she's not, then they will continue to do the AI for us until she is pregnant. And if for whatever reason we find out that she is incapable of getting pregnant again, then that will be another discussion that we'll have to have later on. But our goal is to get 4 or 5 dairy cows on the farm in 2025, actually. So very soon. That's the plan. We'll see if things go according to plan very soon. And we also plan on getting some dairy goats. So the goats we have, Curry, he is not a dairy goat. The other 2 goats back there, they're not dairy goats. But we are planning on getting maybe 6 dairy goats. And we actually are in the process right now of getting an FSA loan. The FSA is the Farm Service Agency. They provide low interest rate loans for farms, very reasonable terms, very realistic terms. So we're going to be building a dairy, or I guess more like a milking parlor. And we'll also have a cold storage building built so we can have a walk-in cooler to keep all of our milk and eggs that we harvest or get, and also produce that's harvested. And also double as a wash and pack area so that we can wash our produce and package it and then store it in the fridge until we're ready to load up for the farmer's market. And they'll also, once approved, we'll get money to actually purchase the additional livestock. Because starting a farm is not cheap. I will tell you that right now. We did not inherit this land. We didn't inherit the family business. We are starting completely from scratch. And as everybody knows, real estate and things in general are very, very expensive right now. But we're making it work. And it's one of the reasons we actually have a YouTube channel, is to be able to share our experience to help others who are interested in doing something similar to what we're doing. And it's also an added bonus that we are able to make a little supplemental income through YouTube. It's not much, but it is better than nothing. This old goat came back. What you doing, girl? Let's flip this pumpkin for you, make it a little bit easier to get to the good stuff. Although it looks like you've eaten most of the good stuff, haven't you? Well, thank you, Kathy. Sometimes we can feel a little defeated when things don't go the way we want, but we know that the property looks a lot better than it was when we got it, and we're making continuous improvements. And it's always helps hearing the encouraging word from our fans and followers and our customers and also our friends and family that come out to visit and have seen the changes over the years. We've been so busy focusing on building the business and doing multiple farmers markets a week, and I haven't had a lot of time to devote to the YouTube channel. I mean, I do some shorts every once in a while. I'll post pictures to Facebook. I'm doing this live chat right now because Ashley is actually inside the house right now baking cupcakes for our youngest. He actually turned 9 years old today. So we're making some cupcakes that we're going to bring to his class in just a little bit. And yeah, so in the slower season, I'm going to make sure that I dedicate more time to making some better quality full-length videos for everybody to hopefully enjoy, maybe learn a little something, whether it's just for entertainment purposes or will actually benefit somebody who is doing something similar or wants to do something similar. You know, our goal is to enrich the world, whether through knowledge or good food products. The curry is eating some blackberries right now, or not blackberry, the berries, but blackberry plants. They've all been working on the weeds. Like this area right here was pretty thick and lush with weeds. It's still pretty thick, but it's a lot thinner than it was several weeks ago when we let the animals into this part of the fence, once we got it finished. So one thing that's kind of scary is that when the USDA came out to look at our property earlier this year, they saw this pasture and saw the weeds and maybe some other undesirable things on the property, and they said, oh, you can just spray Roundup on that. It'll take care of it in no time. That's what the USDA is telling farmers to do. Just spray Roundup on it. Well, you know what? I would rather give these animals a good home on our farm and let them take care of the weeds. It may not be as fast, may not get that instant gratification of weed-free pasture, but I'll tell you what, the soil and land and animals on our farm are going to be a lot healthier than anybody else that's getting that advice from the USDA. It's kind of frightening what our government allows into the food supply and the things that aren't allowed in the food supply. Like, fortunately, being in Georgia, we are going to be able to legally sell raw milk. You can sell it for human consumption. That requires lots of expensive licensing and inspections and having a facility that's, quite frankly, out of our budget. We'll probably never have that, but we are legally able to sell raw milk for pet consumption. So in 2025, we'll be getting our pet food license, and we can sell raw milk for pet consumption, and we will sell it to customers. And whatever they do with it, once it leaves the farm or our booth at the farmer's market, they're able to do whatever they want. There's no law telling you you can't take a can of Fancy Feast home and dine on that, even though it's meant for pet consumption. People, you know, we do live in a free country with, despite the rules and regulations and laws we have to follow, at least we have the freedom to eat pet food if that's what we want to do. And I'll tell you this, the pet food we're going to be supplying is going to be much better for you than anything you can get in a grocery store. Especially because the dairy animals we have are not going to be fed GMOs like corn and soy, given all the vaccines and antibiotics because they're kept in really unsanitary living conditions. After all, you are what you eat, and you're also what they ate. So if you're feeding your animals a bunch of poison and a bunch of junk food, how can you expect to be healthy when you eat the products that come from them? Much rather, I know we feel much better feeding our family the things produced on our farm, and we love being able to provide products for our community. So I'd much rather have those products come from animals that live a life like this and not like those you see in the factory farms. Well, it's about that time. We need to get going and get back to work. So I really appreciate everybody who decided to stop scrolling and land on this video and learn a little bit more about our farm. Again, if you go to www.regenfarm.com, you can currently get our book, Foodie Farmers, A Culinary Journey from Farm to Table, $10 off. Price is already reduced on the page, so no coupon code is needed for that. If you want to buy some of the natural soaps and shampoos and beard products we produce, you can put in the code B2G1 soap. It's like buy two, get one soap to get buy two, get one soap free. And that will automatically take the discount off in your cart, and we ship anywhere in the US. And thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you so much. We'll see you next time.